thought it'd be interesting to look up the Gemara, the story there with heaven kisses earth. The story of Rabbi Bar Chana, and get the details. And to see, as I'm just looking at this here, in the art scroll, they bring the Groz, the Vilna Gaon's explanation. Interesting to see. Interested? So the story exactly is this. Again, this is a famous sugya in Baba Basra, Perek HaMeiches Asvina. Actually, many Litvish yeshivas don't learn this even. When they learn Baba Basra, they skip it because it's in Amudim and Amudim of Agadata. I remember we learned it in yeshiva. It's part of the, obviously you learn it. So he told Rabbi Bar, this Arab tells Rabbi Bar Chana a total of 21 stories or more. Maybe it's even more. One stories, then it leads to further analysis there. Okay, so this is story number 15, just in the English. So the Arab merchant said to me, this is Rabbi Bar Chana speaking, come, I'll show you the place where earth and heaven touch each other, literally kiss. The Noshke Ada Urikia Ahadode. So Rabbi Bar Chana says, I went to the place and I saw the heavens were made up of many windows. I took my basket, this bread basket, this is Rabbi Bar Chana speaking, and placed it in the window of heaven. After I had davened, I searched for the basket but couldn't find it. I said to the Arab, there are thieves around here. He answered me, no, it's not stolen. It is only the heavenly sphere that is rotating and took the basket with it. Wait here until the same time tomorrow. In other words, until the heavens complete the full cycle, and you'll find it again. That's the story. So here, the Gra, they bring the Gra to explain all of the messages here. So he says like this, the Arab merchant refers to the, I'll read it, refers to the Yetzer Hara. Sorry, forgot to put. How are you hearing me, guys?
Just fine.
Okay, fine. It's going to be better now. So the Arab merchant refers to the Yetzer Hara who peddles all kinds of evils. The Yetzer Hara has some clients who are totally engrossed in the study of Torah and other spiritual matters. Their sole concern is to earn reward in the world to come. This is what the Gra is explaining, and this is the apex, the tachlis. This is the righteous people. So with these people, the Yetzer Hara's sales tactic is that it tells them that they need not completely forsake the study of Torah, but they should combine it with pursuit of worldly pleasures. This is so classic. So don't sit in Kollel, which is the ideal model in that world, and your whole concern is Olam Haba. Obviously, the person will not buy that, but the Yetzer Hara wants at least he should combine it with worldly pleasures. The Yetzer Hara offers them the best of both worlds. It offers to show them where heaven and earth meet. So he's trying to convince the person to pursue both. Pursue Ruchnius, Olam Haba, and Gashmius. So Rabbi followed the Yetzer Hara's advice and went to the place where heaven and earth meet. But there he realized that success and wealth are not dependent on human endeavor. It is God who opens his hand and satisfies the desire of every living thing, as it says in Tehillim. Worldly possessions and wealth are gifts from heaven, as expressed in the prayer. Open the gates of heaven and open for us your beautiful, your bountiful storehouse. Say this in Slichus, O God of our salvation. As the Torah writes, Hashem shall open for you his bountiful store. Thus Rabbi realized that heaven is made up of windows through which bounty is passed to mankind. I'm going to reserve comment to the end. Having come to this realization, he placed his breadbasket in the window of heaven, meaning that he placed all his trust in God and prayed to him that he should fill his basket. And yet, with all his faith in God, combined with prayer, he davened. Rabbi did not find the anticipated full basket. You missed the beginning of the story, but it disappeared. So Rabbi attributed the loss of his basket to dishonest dealings which caused the heavenly blessings to be withheld. His own dishonest dealings. Thieves. As the Gemara states, what should a man do to become wealthy? He should do plenty of business. And all of his Gemara Nida, and all his dealings should be honest. So Rabbi proclaimed there must be thieves around here about himself, that he must have been dishonest. That's why he's not getting the blessing. But it is not necessarily so. Sometimes even righteous, honest people remain poor. For reasons known only to God himself, they suffer in this world only to receive the deserved reward at a later time in the world to come. As the Gemara says in Shabbos, poverty is a cycle that goes around the world. So the Rabbi is therefore told that the loss of his basket was not due to his dishonesty. It was due to the heavenly sphere rotating. But he waited till tomorrow, the world to come. Tomorrow, he will certainly find his deserved reward. You have to say, in brackets they add, that according to the gross interpretation, we'd have to say that he's not talking to the Yitzhahara at the end, because he's being told how heaven works. Don't worry, it's not your dishonesty. It's that sometimes even the righteous have to suffer, but in the world to come, tomorrow they'll be rewarded. It's mamish the hepech, is pirush of what learning Yapich Siddhis, and certainly in the next ois that's to come. So I'm suggesting this is Moishe news to Torah here, but based on the fact that that it's based on the fact that the Maamer brings this quote, "Behemshech to the yichud of das elyon and das tacht." Just quotes it. And this is the meaning of this Gemara Hecha the Nashke Arev Rekia Hadodi. This is where heaven and earth meets. We're talking about the yichud of Yichud Tata and Yichud Ilah. So l'chayr, it's masim by the story. What's the yichud of Yichud Ilah and Yichud Tata? It's at Yichud Ilah, the world is bottled by mitzias. It's at Yichud Tata, we're explaining the length of the last few days. The world has a reality. So it's here and it's not here. As we explained yesterday, the whole avodah is that the Metzia should recognize that he's not a Metzias. The Metzia should come to recognize that. So that's exactly what happens here. Where heaven and earth meets, the bread basket, which is symbolic of Elam Hazeh, and moreover, his whole avodah, his yegia, the toil that one invests in panos. That's mamish, Metzias, not manna from heaven. But you got to work. If you don't work, there's no bread on the table. If you do work, there is. So you're participating in your Metzias. And he davens. See, he's there by this window to heaven, and he davens. What's he davening? Saying Shema Yisrael. So the bread, it disappears. It disappears. This is Yichudi Ilah, complete bittul. And then he says it's stolen, meaning to say the whole world is a lie. He's saying that the whole world is a lie. That's his conclusion after his davening. Complete with bittul b'mitzias. The bread basket disappears. All is alikus, Yichudi Ilah, exclusively. And what does he discover? No, that tomorrow will come back. So it is a mitzias and it's not a mitzias. It's the yichud of Yichudi Ilah and yichud tata. It's not exclusively one, which he achieved, as it were, in his davening. But the tachlis is the yichud, the place where heaven and earth meets. The bread basket disappears and appears, disappears and appears. Which means it does have a mitzias and it doesn't have a mitzias. Its mitzias is only, again, Hashem's constant creation, bringing it into being. And that's what he recognizes here. I'm just trying to think as I'm talking. So the Arab merchant in all of these stories is the one that's bringing this enlightenment. And that is consistent also with that the biggest enlightenment is Dafka Nilam Hazeh. And Nilam Hazeh is a place of business with the merchant. What's the point of business? The point of business is you invest a little, you want to get back a lot. That's why you're doing business. If you're going to get back what you put in, you're wasting your time. So this world is called, at its Canaan. The whole world is called Canaan. Canaan means a businessman, a merchant. Because this is the world, this world, Dafka, is the greatest discoveries, the greatest profit, Peruchnius is achieved. So this great insight of the Yichud, of Yichudi Ilah and Yichud Tata, world is a mitzias and not a mitzias, that is discovered dafka being in the world, not from the perspective of heaven itself, where world is not a mitzias. In other words, heaven actually has two perspectives. Mitzad seva kalam, not a mitzias. Mitzad mimala kalam is a mitzias. It's a conflict. But in Elam Hazeh, where we're drawing on Atmos, there, as I'm talking, it's clearer. Dafka in Elam Hazeh, symbolized by the Arab merchant, dafka here is he comes to recognize the fusion of both Mala and Soiviv. It is a mitzias and not a mitzias simultaneously. Here's an example, just Yesh Leimer. I mean, the Maamer brings it here, so it's definitely, that's pshat in these words. That's the meaning of the Nashka out of it here. But we have such a classic contrast here with the beer without Chassidus, which is all about reward. The whole story is about the tachlis is the reward, and he's pacified. Don't worry, you're going to get the reward in Ilam Haba. That's the whole beer of the Gra. Not Chassidus is a Gra. It's about the truth of the Eibishter. That is access dafke and not there in Ilam Haba, but dafke here. Never mind, it's not about Elam Haba. It's about the truth of Alikus, that is access, the Yichud of Yichud Tatan, Yichud Ilah, Dafka, where is appreciated Dafka Elam Haza, because here's where Atmos is invested, because here's where the Nisava is, and he discovers this through his dealings, as it were, with the Arab merchants, which means to the Neshama coming to the Guf Lamata. Are you having an appreciation of this? Okay, a little smile would be nice. Okay, good. Huh?
Anything Parnasa related?
We pick up. Yeah, we can make a ganze drasha, a ganze teuf in this session. I should give it why, he'll make a big tail out of this. Okay. Yesh lahayrych. It's a good example of a contrast. Of an agada to a cryptic gemara, and where is it leading to? Completely opposite directions. Well, what is it saying? All right, friends, so we finished the first chapter of Beis Gimel. So we're saying that what? That Yehudi Ilah, so this happens through the Avodah V'Yid, which is expressed in Shema. So Shema Yisrael Havai Elokeinu, That's a malakalam. In Mikala Lakoved, the Avodah begins from self and then proceeds to transcendence. And then Havaya Chod, that is Yichud Ilah, and it's all one pasuk. It's the Chibur of Yichud Tato and Yichud Ilah. And what does that bring to? Love, the loves for Elikus, which neutralize the loves, Mevatel, the loves for anything other than Elikus. 3 levels of love. Loves of fire, Dafka, the imagery of fire, because he's saying it consumes. Like fire consumes, it consumes the Avazodas, which are the 7 Ummas. The 7 nations represent the 7 foreign loves all for love, fear, not love, but emotions, love and fear, etc., all bound up with Gashmius. So this neutralizes all of that. And then the result is, that Hashpah goes only to Kedusha here in the world, to the Yid, and the Yid suffuses the world with this. Now continue. So now you have friends, we're going to have a whole new appreciation of what we say before Yishtabach from Sukkot de Zimra. In the build-up, in the Achona to Kriya Shema, we say, Ato hu lavai levadecha, you are God alone. Ato sisas hashemayim, you made the heavens and the heavens. Shmei hashemayim. Ha'aretz, the world, the earth, v'chol asher aleha, and all that is upon it. Ato, you are the one that took Avram out of Urkazdim of idolatry, and Bachart ba'Avram, you chose him. And you found his heart faithful to you, and you made a covenant with him to give him losses, reckoning all the 7 nations. And you fulfilled, you held up your word. For you are righteous. Now he's going to explain this whole thing. Yeah, words are familiar. So you are God alone. So this koi alpchinas atzmos, this refers to the very essence of the Eibishter, that is beyond the 2 perspectives. We explained yesterday that the 2 perspectives of Sebev Kalalme, which engenders Yehuda Ilah or Das Elyon, and Yehuda Tata, the opposite perspective from a Malak Al-Almin, which is Das Tachten, where creation has validity and value in the face of its creative force, Malak Al-Almin. So this is all where the Eibishter has chosen to manifest himself. Again, in the way of Bligvul or in the way of Gvul, it's binary, it's a dual system. These 2 revelations are incompatible. There is yes, there is no. We can't have yes and no at the same time. Can't have Bligvul and Gvul at the same time. So the Eibishter manifests these two properties. But the point is, of course, that this is the Eibishter's choice, this is B'chidas ha'atzmos, and the Eibishter is utterly beyond Bli Gvul and Gvul, utterly beyond of the whole notion of revelation, period. Again, revelation is the first radical change and the first step to creation, the notion of revelation, because the notion of revelation already implies what? Fill in the blank, the word we use all the time, otherness, even on the most sublime potential level. I'm not talking other yet, mitzias, but otherness, the inyan, there could be another. That's what Oyer implies. As soon as you invoke the word light, revelation, you've already acknowledged that the existence of the notion, at very least, of otherness. On some level, That's the most radical change. In a way that's more radical than the actual creation, Yesh Mayin of Elam Hazeh. So this is the Eibishter's choice, and he's utterly beyond it. But, and this is the big but, since he chose to reveal himself, and since he chose this notion of revelation, well, then that's him. He chose Inyan Ha'or, to rephrase that. Atzmos chooses to manifest as a Mo'or, a source of revelation. Before even revelation, there's the source of revelation. But even source of revelation implies, sets in motion, the whole process is right there, at least the Bligvul. And then comes the big news, not just Bligvul, Gvul. He wants a binary system, which is in conflict. The first conflict emerges already Lamailo, when the Koich HaGvul emerges to play, as it were, on the Koich HaBligvul, the Tzimtzum, and that is a very uneasy encounter. What's the result? What's the result of that first? What's the result of the emergence of the Tzimtzum?
Now you have other mismamish.
Yeah, I just said that it's a very uneasy encounter because they're incompatible. Bli Gvul and Gvul. So what's the consequence of that first Giloy of the Koich HaGvul?
You have Helen.
Before even the Helen, if Shviras HaKelim, a complete shattering and a complete confusion and a complete chaos because they're incompatible. That the first encounter of the Koich HaGvul, as it emerges to then screen and limit and compromise the Giloy, the first Giloy, which is Bligvul, that's an impossible, uneasy, and more than uneasy, and shattering encounter. That's what Shviras HaKelim is. Without going into that whole sugi which we've spoken about.
Rabbi?
Yeah.
It's fair to say only because Hashem chose that there should be Shviras HaKelim?
Of course. That's all part of the kavanah. It's all part of the kavanah that it makes sense. That it should be logical. It makes sense that when infinite is when finite seeks to impose upon itself upon infinite, or to rephrase that, when infinite is projected onto finite, that the finite will shatter. That's part of the Seder. That's the logical process of creation. And in fact, as we've pointed out, contemporary science, I'm told, has come to appreciate that at the subatomic level, this is quantum physics, it's chaos. It's chaos. There is Metzius and not Metzius. There's communication faster than the speed of light, which was thought impossible. Fast in the speed of light means Bligvul. That's what it means. It means beyond time and space. Pashat seeing that at this subatomic. Maybe my language is wrong, but I'm just parroting what I heard. And this is all expressed in the opening words. It's an ongoing process. That from chaos there is order. That's Mamsh Pshuta Shel Mikra, the wonderful book in the beginning, the unauthorized version of the Bible based on the Ramban and Rashi, says that the beginning was all chaos, this whirling mass of non-differentiation, potential existence. That's the opening creation. And then over the 6 days of creation, things separate and form. But it starts in this chaotic encounter. And the chaotic encounter, this explosive encounter, where the Kalim, Koich HaGvul, is shattered. And then, I'm not going to go into this whole parsha, we did speak about it. What does it say? The Arizal introduced this idea. This is such a phenomenal revelation of understanding reality. This whole Shviras HaKelim. Although it's hinted to in Medrash and Gemara, maybe she created worlds and destroyed them. Everything has a source of nigla. But Kopanim, where does it all fall? So this shattering, the likus, the kelim, the koich hagvul, initially, which cannot contain the koich habligvul, falls into Elam Hazeh. And the whole task in the language of the Arizal is to redeem these sparks. And redeem it in such a way, Hashem oiz liyama yitin, Hashem gives strength to his people. That's referring to Torah. In oiz el Torah, the whole avodah of Torah and mitzvahs throughout the millennia, it's all about giving koich hagvul, the strength to experience koich habligvul, which is another way of saying, well, right now, this is the yichud of das eli and das tacht, that you're a mitzias, but at the same time you're a keli to bligvul, which says you're not a mitzias. And the Metzias itself acknowledges that. That's the chibur of das el and das tachten. That's the whole, another way of describing what that Yisrael first articulated is the whole avodah being mevada, the nitzutzik dush and elevating the sparks. That's exactly what it means. So Elam Hazeh is a crazy place. It's a consequence, the gashmis of Elam Hazeh is the direct consequence of the chaotic encounter of vul and bligvul and maila. And this tremendous, the greatest potential, craziness, the most destructive way or the most elevated way. Shtus the ktusha or shtus the klip. Nyavodah shtus the ktusha. It's another way of saying this yichud of das el and das tacht. The bottom line is, you got to think. Trachten chassidus means a lot of things, but it also means the appreciation that every Maamer is saying the same thing. There's 1,000 Maamorim, there's different languages and beauty, but you have to, on the one hand, understand it's all one thing. On the other hand, the unique expression of it and the practicality, the avodah of the way it's articulated in this Maamer. It's not another Eibishter, it's not another Kavanah. There's one God and one Kavanah Gamarnu. But this one Kavanah embraces every detail of existence. We need to see all of the details of existence, what they are, how they fit into the whole scheme of things, and how they are expressive of the one singular kavanah. In this avodah, and that avodah, this oifen and that oifen, it's all ultimately to express atzmos in plurality and united. Havayu Elikim. So everything we learn, we need to understand it in the broadest context. And at the same time, the particular articulation of this avodah, of this Maamer, these words, this language, and its particular application. So we now continue. Let's continue now. So Ato hu avai levadecho. Yeah, we're 4 lines from the top. Avos Dalet. Yossi, good to see you. So this koi alprina so atzmo so ato you chlal. Whenever the pasuk says the word you or God is talking, he says I, or we are talking, we say him, without invoking a name, goes on atzmus. So atu havai levadecho. So this goes on atzmus shalamain bebeis deis now. I can't explain. So Havai's name is mentioned there, whatever the beer. But the from Kloli, it's ato levadecho. So this is atzmos higher than what? Beis deis, meaning higher than soivev, higher than mamale. And not, let's get this clear, not that there's mamale, soivev, atzmos. So that atzmos is one darge or whatever, but higher than soivev, and 2 higher than mamala. No. Soivev and mamala are equally insignificant per se. But it's Abish's choice to reveal himself this way, therefore they become him. They are him. He chose revelation, and he chose revelation, bli gvul and gvul. So when drawing on Atzmos, that's when that yichud can happen, that it's all you. Bittul b'mitzias is the expression of you, and bittul hayesh is the expression of you. That's malak alamin. I am not. Shalachein beis adeyes heim shom biyachad der natzmos. It's all one. The lochin, again, these are all words. Everybody has to. I can talk and talk and talk. At the end of the day, everybody has to think this through in their own mind. Take ownership of it. But understand that we're talking. You say this. Mamish, Shema Yisrael Havai Lekeinu, comma Havai Echad, and you have your own language. Then, if there are any questions, so you talk amongst each other. That's what the Mitlerber wanted. That when Chassidim meet, they should discuss Yichud Yilah, Yichud Etatov. What is he saying? Here's a subject, and I want you to master it. To Chassidim meet, the whole discussion is, what's reality? Yes, Welt, no Welt. How do you reconcile it? That's the discussion. The discussion, the deepest discussion about life. What is life? What's truth? And to discuss it, meaning, because it's an endless discussion, to find more Isis and more Ifanim and more ways in Avodah to reconcile yes and no simultaneously. I am a Metzias and not a Metzias. A Metzias is only him that wants me to be a Metzias. Therefore I am, because it's his desire that I be, etc. That should be the discussion. Yichud Yilah, Yichud Etatah, that's the Mittel Rebbe said. So, I'm just thinking as I'm talking aloud, that maybe we should, at the Fabrengen this week, maybe it should be that everybody should think and express in their own, find in their own world, their own language, their own experience. An example. It can be a small moment of the struggle, the avodah of the chibur of das elyon and das tachten. What it means for me in my struggle. What is their struggle? I mean, you don't have to be not a time of confession. But without compromising one's privacy, as it were, to whatever degree. Although being vulnerable is a wonderful thing. It's only a way really to grow and to touch somebody else. But even then, as it says now, you're very careful by Fabrengen. No one, not to embarrass someone else, or embarrass yourself either. So there's a fine line. But no, what do you think? Maybe it's something to think about.
Start a podcast.
Huh?
Start a podcast.
A podcast, and people share. Yeah, and I don't know how to do that. So you tell me later. Maybe that's the way to go. Akopanim. All right. So what is it now? Just finish the next few lines here, and then the story. Which I don't remember what. We'll see. It's always a surprise to me. I don't remember which one. I'm just following the book and just, okay, we can share that one. So let's see inside again. They're not most, it's all one. And therefore, as the pasuk continues, from there is drawn and revealed the truth of. It's all you, the heavens and the heavens, that's das elyon. And ha'aretz, the hein is added by the Maamer. The pasuk says ha'aretz. But the whole point is, and also the world, the chol asher aleha, and all that dwell upon it, das tacht. It's all you, akel b'yachad. This is this abundance that the Yid brings to Kriya Shema. He forms together as one all their hearts. So the hearts is plural, conveying the two, das elyon, das tachten, and yoitze yachad, he forms them, fashions them all as one. So through this, the two views in the person's avodah, as he goes on to say, Shemit tomorrow, being in ava. Okay, I don't know how to read this. We should actually have the siddur in front of us to see the words in the siddur and how he explains it. Let's do that tomorrow. Okay.